Hi there, it's Paula Ritchie, and we're going to be doing a full-length gentle class today. I certainly hope you can join us. I'll be with you shortly. Okay, so the music we're playing is the Gentle Playlist number 1. First song is Some Sand, and we'll get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press restart. We'll start with a little meditation this morning, or centering, whatever you want to call it. So find a nice comfortable position. And finding a little extra space under the pelvis. Usually I will pull my thighs out a little bit. And then feeling that connection to the floor, or whatever is connected to the floor. If it feels okay to close your eyes, do that. And notice as you breathe now that the breath becomes kind of really all-encompassing. It's nothing else really for your mind to cling on to, so it'll cling on to the breath. And here you can start to feel the breath moving in and out. And just notice with each inhale, maybe you can find an even straighter spine. And with each exhale, you can feel the body softening. Release some of the tension that might be lurking. And you can actually actively go and search for it as if, as you inhale, bring your mind's eye to the area at the back of the shoulders. And as you exhale, feel the shoulders soften down to the mat. And as we continue to just breathe here, notice also where the breath shows up without directing it. Do you feel it in the nostrils? Do you feel it as it fills up your belly, coming into the lungs? Remember, if you're sitting in a cross-legged position and you have any knee issues, feel free to release the legs that are uncomfortable. And if that's not helping, just lie down. Because it doesn't really matter. Well, it's best to sit up straight and tall because it's the best way to get the breath into the backside of the body to feel it kind of with a little bit more freedom. But if sitting up like this creates pain and all you can do is think about pain, that's not a good meditation. So we're going to transition into a little gratitude meditation. Now that you've noticed there's an established breathing pattern, and we've released some of the tension that might be lurking through the shoulders, through the face, through the hips, wherever in the body. I'm going to take a thought, something that you love. You can place it in your hand and just bring it into the heart. And of course, once you've got it in there, just an idea of something that you're so grateful for that's in your life, something that you really love. And you can think small, you can think big. But notice as it kind of ruminates that thought of that person, place, thing that gives you such joy. Notice how it changes the body. Do you feel any lightness or any different sensations in the heart? Do you notice that you might be smiling as the sides of your lips may have turned up? Notice if there are any other different physical feelings from just opening up or opening yourself up to gratitude. So, from this place, with this open heart, we're going to start to move into our practice, and we're going to kind of use this idea of gratitude as a way of moving through practice today to feel open, to feel, happy with ourselves. Because sometimes we forget, and especially since, it's kind of crappy out today. And I read the newspaper this morning, and it was the first time I've seen in a long time. Every day for the entire newspaper showing of time, every day was rain. So it looks like we're going to have to create that sunniness from inside of our hearts. All right, so we're going to just switch our leg position. Now, if you're sitting out with your leg because it bothers you, then stay there. You may want to just bring up both legs now. But if you are sitting in cross-legged position, let's change our cross. And then let's just stretch our arms up over the head. Going to grab hold of the left wrist and lift it up. But feel as you lift up, so I'm going to take off my shirt so you can see. We want to have the sensation not here, but here. So we're lengthening up out of that waist. And then just start to stretch up and over towards the right. As you inhale, feel your heart reaching up towards that hand in the air. And imagine that you're leaning up against that wall behind you, that magic wall that is always there waiting for you to just release and relax into it. Beautiful. We're going to start to release our right hand to the floor and stretch just a little bit more over, really rooting that left sit bone into the floor. And start to feel that you can move the rib cage a little bit up. Let the ears draw back. And then start to roll the rib cage a little forward, and we'll start to reach that left arm forward towards the front right edge of the mat, and let the back of the ears follow the hand. And see if you can feel the breath moving into the back side of the body. Back left thumb, breathe. As we inhale, we're going to roll ourselves back up. We'll lift all the way back up. And then both hands to your heart. Take a moment, heart up into the hands. Can again take a moment here to remind yourself what you should be, what you can be grateful for, and you can also switch it. So if there's something else, just keep filling yourself with all these different wonderful things that abound in your life. And start to reach the arms up again. Now grab hold of the right wrist, lengthening up first, and then up and over to the left. Feel the breath or the heart lengthening as you inhale. Feel the shoulders dropping down. Breathe. We'll start to release that left hand to the floor as we reach that right arm up and over a little bit more. And then really feeling that right sit bone draw down. Let's open up a little bit. So feel the rib cage kind of roll back towards the back wall. Let the heart lift up, let the head relax. And then we're going to start to again roll from the ribs, reaching the right arm forward, top right edge of the mat, back of the neck or back of the ears following that hand. As we inhale, we'll lift back up. And we'll reach all the way back up. As we exhale, let's spin the palms down, palms away from each other and stretch the arms down. And then inhale, lift them all the way back up. It's tank top season. Exhale down. Just a little swimming, feel the fingers reaching away from each other. Nice strong arms, the muscles kind of hugging towards the bones. Flip again and down. And see if you can feel this work all the way into your back side of the body, into the back. Beautiful. We'll take the hands all the way down now, plant them to the mat, stretch the legs forward and give them a shake. If you're sitting on something, let's let go of it. And we'll roll ourselves up and into tabletop position. So planting your hands on the floor, walking your knees back so that you are now knees right underneath hips, lengthen tailbone and head away from one another. And let's just start to drop our belly down towards the floor. And as the bottom ribs kind of drop towards the mat, feel the shoulders and the tailbone, or the shoulders and the butt kind of drawing towards each other. Big stretch through the belly. You can pull your hands towards each other. Feel the collarbones wide. Try not to let your head escape the fact that it is part of the spine. So don't let the chin lift up. Try to keep the neck lined up with the rest of the spine. And then use the bottom tip of the shoulder blade to really pull the heart forward so you get that same stretch that you would get if you lifted your chin up. And then press hands and feet away from each other. Drop the tailbone down and start to nice and slowly roll yourself through and into cat pose. Inhale, or just staying here for a few extra breaths, kind of creating a little space between the vertebrae. Let the back of the neck get long and stretch. And then pull hands and knees back towards each other. Let's do one breath, one movement. So inhaling into cow pose and exhaling into cat pose. Back and forth, let's do 5 breaths. Moving so nice and slowly that you can even just be grateful that you have all of this smooth liquid movement through your spine. That's something to be grateful for. Hopefully this movement is only accompanied with a feeling of easefulness. Another thing to be happy about. Excellent. Last one. Beautiful. We're going to exhale round, coming back into cat pose. Take the right knee to your nose. And then stretch it up and out behind you. And feel the inner thigh of that leg reaching out through the inner heel. Exhale, round in again. If you want to add the arm, you can. It's the opposite arm. And last one. So 4, reach. We're gonna take arm and leg out to the side, and then we'll tap them down. We're gonna inhale, sweep the right arm up. And both arms can lift. Now, you can have something underneath your knee. If this bothers the knees, here we are. Okay, and we'll come down. So get into that inner groin, just in this position. You can have your hands on blocks. If it's okay to be on the knees, here it's a cat and cow. Pull the legs towards each other, back and forth. And as you pull into cat pose, feel how the thigh bone of the right leg rolls differently. A lot more activity in there. Beautiful. We'll slide that leg back in. We'll slide ourselves back into child's pose for a second. Take a breath. Inhale, come back up. And we'll move to the second leg. So also in this pose, if you're bothered by being on your knees, you can do this pose from a standing position. Drop in and stretch out. Round as you come into this version of cat, nose to knee, and stretch out. So there's always something to do, and sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to think about how to avoid movement in areas that don't feel good. Again, if you want to add the arm here, you can. But you'll always be able to find something again, and be grateful for that. Beautiful. Come in this time, we're going to take the leg out and away, arm and leg, and then out to the side. And touch down. Inhale, sweep up. And a little over. Beautiful. Coming back up. And we'll do a little cat and cow here on this side. So our bodies are filled with sensations. Some of them are great, some of them not so great. But when you do connect with one that is great, like for me, this sensation in the hip, so great. You know, it just feels so effective, so much stuff comes out. I can really feel like I'm getting some more mobility through those hips. I'm going to slide that leg back now, and let's come up into downward facing dog. And as you press into the hands, let's draw those hips back. Let the back of the neck be long. Now lift up our heels nice and high. And then exhale, drop the heels down towards the floor. Inhale, lift up. And exhale down. Stretching at the backs of the legs. One last time. Inhale up. And exhale down. We're going to start to walk our hands back towards our feet. Bend your knees when you need to. Let the belly rest on the thighs. The back of the neck be long. You can hold on to your elbows here for a little bit more weightedness. And if it feels okay, you can do a little swinging. We'll release the hands. We're going to start to roll ourselves up. Plant the heels down to the floor. Lift the ears to the back wall. Stretch the arms up, palms together, looking up. Exhale, slide the hands back down to the heart. Beautiful. Walk your feet together. Press down through the four corners of your feet. So feel your big toe mounds, which are now kind of connected a little. The baby toe mounds rooting into the floor. The inner heels again connected, and the outer heels. And let's just reach our arms out. You can blink open your eyes if they're closed, and we'll start to lift that right leg up. Now put the weight of yours, so as you start to transition the weight out of the right leg, place it, root it into the four corners of that left leg. And we'll take that right leg up. Pull both inner thighs back behind you. Feel the difference in that pose. I always find that takes a lot of weight out of the pelvis. And we're going to inhale, lift the arms up, reach. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll slowly come back down. Inhale, press down through the right leg, lifting the inner left leg up. Reaching up. Inner thigh splits back, arms lift. Ears back, heart lifts. Beautiful. And then coming back down. Inhale, sweep both arms up. And exhale, fold forward. We're going to walk our hands back and into downward facing dog. All this walking around, what are we doing? It's such good, easy work for the back. Press the hands down and forward, lift the hips up and back, feet now about hip width apart. We're going to slowly come forward into plank pose. And then slowly draw back. Do that 2 more times, following your breath. And back. Last one. Or last one like this, I guess. And then press down. We're now putting the weight into both hands equally. Again, heart melts, collarbones wide. Feel the weight of your right leg kind of transition into your left and lift the right leg up, sweeping it all the way up and back. 3-legged dog. Exhale, let's take that leg forward towards your right thumb. And here you don't have to drop the knee to the floor, but you can as you start to rock back and forth. So the back knee can be off the floor, and if it is off the floor, I would come up higher on your blocks. So you could just kind of move into this pose with the heart still staying forward. I'm going to keep my knee down because I like this version of the pose more. Beautiful. We're going to inhale, come forward now. Now everyone's going to take their back knee off the floor, and you can have your left hand, on a block for extra height. And then we're going to imagine that we're going to pull the floor up. The elbow is going to lift up towards the ceiling as we spin the left ribs over to the right. And then we'll float those fingers up towards the sky. Then we're going to grab hold of the ceiling, pull it down, and then plant that into the floor. Okay, we'll do that a few more times. Inhale, lift up. And float. And grab. And down. And plant. One last time, lift up. Or one last time like that. And then pull down. And in. This time as we lift up, we'll stay there. So pull up. And lift. And then see if you can find the relationship between the hands through what would be considered one arm. So if I press down through the left arm, I reach up a little bit more through the right. Try to keep the hips level. Let's do some circles with that arm. 1. And 2, try to keep that right arm nice and straight, no bend in the elbow. And 3. We'll switch directions. 1. And 2. And 3. Lift it up. Open, big opening here. Hello world, to the side, to the right. And then exhale, bring that hand back down. We're going to step back plant our hands, plant our feet, drop the knees, pull the hands back so we reach a little forward, and slowly we'll find the mat. Let the forehead come to the floor, take your arms into cactus. Loop the shoulders first, start to feel a little easy mobility through the shoulders. And then together, draw them into the shoulder girdle, press the hands forward and start to feel yourself literally peeling yourself off the mat one vertebra at a time. Pull the hands back, roll down a little slower. Let the head touch. Maybe the hands rolled in a little bit as you come up. Press the feet into the floor, press the pelvis into the floor, belly into the spine. And then again, as we pull the hands a little back, we roll down a little bit more forward. We're not really moving, but we're feeling as if we're getting a little bit extra space through the vertebrae. Last one. And as we come down, you can slide your hands back underneath you, press hands and knees into the floor. We're back up, tabletop position. Slide back to child pose, take a breath, let the back of the neck reach towards the fingers, back up, downward facing dog. Upper arms reaching back, heart melting down. We're gonna inhale, slowly start to come forward into plank pose. And then again, heart melts, collarbones wide, hands really activated into the floor. Start to take the weight out of your left leg as we add it to the right. Lots of work here. And then just keep pressing the hands back as you reach that left leg all the way up and back, three-legged plank. Or three-legged dog. We'll drop the right heel towards the floor. And then let's take that leg all the way forward towards the left hand. We'll drop the right knee to the mat. Here we will start again with that little rocking back and forth. So if you're doing this without your knee on the floor, you know you should raise your blocks a little bit. It's just nicer. You don't have to, but I'm all about nice. I think if it feels good, we're still doing something. We're still moving. We don't have to do it all today. Our attention should be on making it feel fantastic, not making it so hard that it's impossible and it's just not enjoyable to do. You want to make it feel so fantastic that you come back to your mat every single day. Beautiful. And let's come forward. We'll stay here. We're going to lift that back knee off the floor. And I'm going to take my right hand to the block. I'm taking the left hand down. Now, let's start first by lengthening through the back of the head and through the inner right heel, reaching away from one another. Try not to let that right hip drop down towards the floor, so keep it level. And then grab hold of the floor, and as we lift up, the elbow lift, and see if you can feel the belly button turn, and then float the arm up. Grab hold of the ceiling, pull it down, and plant it back into the floor. One. Inhale up. Float. Grab the ceiling, pull down, and down. Last one. Lift up. And down. Beautiful. This time as we come up, we're going to hold it up here. So pull, lift. Twist from the belly, lift, hold. Feel the right bicep drop forward a little bit, so you don't want the shoulder up at the ear, lengthen, and we'll just do circles. Switch directions. Beautiful, up. Open. And then back down towards the floor. Let's step that back leg forward. Plant both feet and just fold into this forward fold. Let the back of the neck be long. Plant down to both feet. Bend your knees enough that your belly can rest on the thighs. And start to feel with that rested belly on the thighs that the back can start to stretch. See if you can breathe into the back side of the body. Make sure that you feel the four corners of your feet again rooted into the floor, not the weight into your toes. And then start to roll yourself up. As you root the heels into the floor, let's take those arms up over the head. Reach the heart up towards those hands. And if you want here, again, lengthening up, you can open up the arms a little bit and let that heart just reach up towards the sky. Feeling the vastness of this heart space that's open, filled with gratitude for just another day on this planet. As we inhale, we're going to reach back up, straighten up, and let's take the hands to the heart, and we'll roll down one vertebrae at a time. So drop the head to the hands, and then just start feeling the neck start to move, then the upper back, moving slow enough that you try to feel each vertebrae articulate that movement all on its own. We're in no rush here. Think about it, the longer time you stay kind of rolling yourself down, the less movements we have to do all together. So, and then hands to the floor. We'll lengthen up into a flat back. And then we'll come back down. We're going to take our right leg back behind us. Lengthen. And you can stay here. Again, both hands can be on blocks if you need them to be, by all means. Or you can take your left arm back behind you, reaching it in towards the midline, helping encourage that left hip to stay to the midline. And you can stay here, or you can reach that right arm forward. Back of the neck long. Building up some strength here. Hold. Breathe. Lengthen out to that back leg a little bit more, and then we're going to make our way up. So you can take your hands to the floor as you make your way up, or you can imagine the back of the heart being drawn back behind you, lifted, and in this lunge. Exhale, let's open up warrior two. Pull the legs towards each other, reach out to the arms. You can look over the front fingertips. Let's drop the back hand, we'll come into our exalted warrior, reaching that heart up towards the hand in the air. Feel that left shoulder melt down as the heart lifts up just a little bit more. We'll come back to warrior two. And we'll drop that right elbow onto the left, left elbow onto the left thigh. Reach the right arm up. So we're trying to create a line from one hand to the other. That's one version. If this feels great, stay. As we reach that right arm up and away from that right foot, the shoulder shouldn't have dropped down. Lean that right shoulder up against that magic wall behind you. Inhale, come all the way back up. We'll straighten that front leg. We'll spin it, we're on five-pointed star. Take the right hand down onto the right thigh, take the left arm up, and just start to get into the side body a little bit more by sliding that right arm down. Lean yourself back. It doesn't matter how far you go down. You may have only gone down an inch. That's fine. Try not to put a lot of weight into that right hand. I don't push into the knee, especially if you're right at the kneecap. If you're at the calf, it's fine. Beautiful. Now squeeze the right side a little bit, get a little activity in there. And then we're going to inhale, lift all the way back up. Five-pointed star. Spin the palms up. Spin the palms down. A few more. Inhale. And exhale. 3. 4. Beautiful. We're going to start to fold forward. So you can take your hands to your hips. You can also take your hands into Yoga Mudra behind you. Pull the legs towards each other. And before we start to hinge forward from the hips, feel the inner thighs activate and feel that lift up in your pelvis as you hinge from the hips and fold forward. You can lift your arms up over the head. They can also just be down on the mat. Legs still active, really working. Beautiful. We're going to release the hands if they're up in Yoga Mudra, lengthen into a flat back. We'll bend the back knee, pull the front leg towards you. Feel the outside of that foot, so the pinky toe side of the left foot pulling towards you. Inner thigh nice and active here. And then crawl yourself all the way back to the front of the mat. And step yourself back and into plank pose. Lengthen from soles of the foot out to the crown of the head. You know you can tap the knees to the floor. And then nice and slowly, as the upper outer arms lift up, reach the heart forward and slowly come down to the mat. Tops of the feet flat. Inch the hips back, plant the tops of the feet down, plant the pelvis down. Arms a little wider forward, roll up, cobra. Exhale, roll back down. Now, this is not gentle, but if you want to try taking the hands to the back of the head, as you lift up into this little mini cobra, you'll, triple the amount of effort in this pose. 3 more times. Inhale, lift. Heart reaching forward, press the pelvis into the floor. Belly is not helping. The belly is drawn into the spine. One last time, either hands to the head or hands to the floor. And then slide the hands back, press hands and knees into the floor. We're back up, downward facing dog. Let's take that right leg forward now. Taking the right hand back, hugging that right hip into midline, taking the left arm forward. Stay. The front shin is drawing back. The muscles are activated on the top of the knee and below the knee to get that knee nice and strong. Try to keep it contained. Beautiful. And then coming up, imagine the back of the heart is being drawn up, both arms come up. Let's open up warrior 2. Arms strong. Legs strong. Body, spine perpendicular to the floor. Perpendicular to your arms. Lift the palms up. And down. 2. And close your eyes here. If you feel a lot of pressure in that thigh, put a little bit more weight into that back leg. And then start to bend a little bit more. Keep pulling the legs towards each other. Beautiful. Now let's take that right elbow towards the left thigh, towards the right thigh. So you take that left arm either up or reaching it away from that foot. Notice where that top shoulder is. If it's forward, can you roll it back, opening that heart up, letting the head relax on that wall? Beautiful. All the way back up. Reach through that back arm. We'll straighten our front leg. We'll spin ourselves into a 5-pointed star. Gonna take that left hand down, take the right arm up, and it's more like a containment or contraction through the left side to stretch the right side. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to roll ourselves back up, both arms lift. Take them back behind you, interlace them. If you did the arms in an interlace with the opposite thumb. If you didn't do the interlace, hands to the hips. Pull the legs towards each other. Feel the inner thighs spinning back behind you as you hinge from the hips to fold forward. Nice and controlled lowering down of that head, and then lifting the arms up over your head. So things to be grateful for. Just imagine the world without internet. We would all be alone in our homes. We wouldn't be able to do yoga together. We're going to release the hands back down to the floor. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen. And listen, gratitude for hearing. Because without it, you would probably get lost in this practice. Again, bending that back knee, pulling the front leg towards you. Inner thigh nice and strong. Just imagine having a body that, you weren't as comfortable, you couldn't know or feel your foot. So just being grateful for sensation. Gonna come back to the front and we'll start to just walk ourselves all the way back. We'll step that back leg forward here again and fold forward. And inhale, we'll roll ourselves all the way up. Stretch the arms up over the head. And hands to the heart. Taking a moment to feel securely rooted in your mountain pose. Taking up your space on this earth. Recognizing how nice it is to be here. We're going to walk our feet together. We're going to push down through the left leg, and again, we're going to take that right leg and lift it up. And you can hold on to the back of the leg here for a moment as you pull the hands back behind you, spit that butt out. I'm going to straighten that leg if you want. Let's bend that knee again. We're going to draw it in and up, and then out to the side, where we'll slide that right foot into the inner thigh. Now, if that doesn't work for you, if that's too high, place the foot underneath the knee and hands to your heart. So if you want to be grateful for your eyesight, close your eyes here. And then you'll notice that the world spins a lot faster than you thought. So gratitude for eyes giving us balance. Take the arms out to the side. Add one more side stretch. We're going to take that right arm onto the right knee or thigh. Lift the left arm up. And this is called collapsed tree. So if you do collapse over, just laugh. Just going to press a little bit into that right knee as you reach the left arm up and over. Again, head, shoulders, back of the arm on that magic wall. Ooh. Ooh. Beautiful. Inhale back up. We'll take that knee with us. Now, just notice you can hold on to that knee again. We're trying to strengthen that left leg. So stick your butt back a little bit. Feel that work. I always feel that sensation that's building in my left leg. I consider it bone density building. So here, that sensation for me is, ooh, look at that. My bones are building up strength. That's another thing that we can be grateful for. These self-regenerating bodies, even as we age and we do decompose, we can still regenerate, right? We cut ourselves, it gets better. All right, let's release. And just take a moment to feel that sensation in the left leg dissipate as you put more weight into the right one. Okay, second leg. Press down through the right leg. You're going to start to lift the left knee up. Inner thigh actually lifts. Lift, lift, lift. And you can hold on underneath, pull the hands back, spit the butt back. And you can start to straighten that leg if you want. So you can keep that knee bent. Especially as you straighten that leg, you feel the inner thighs kind of spinning forward towards the front of the mat. We don't want that. We want to keep the shoulders right over the hips. Beautiful. We're going to bend that knee. And open up that knee to the left. Slide the hand down the front side of the leg and bring the thigh in, or the foot in towards that right inner thigh. And again, if that's not working for you, it's down below the knee. We don't want to push the foot into that knee. It's hard. So we do want the legs to activate, to push together a little bit to help you sit up or stand up nice and tall. Take your arms out to the side here. Move them up. Just play a little bit. I'm going to take that left arm now onto the left knee. And like then if you didn't like doing this on the other side, you know, you don't have to try it. It's not going to, you know, it's not the end all and be all of this practice. But it is kind of an interesting stretch. Beautiful. All right, we can come back. We'll bring that knee with us. We'll feel that work of that sensation growing in that right leg. And then we can start to release it down nice. Just shake out both legs. Start to feel the weight of both legs becoming equally distributed, all that sensation of building muscles, or feel the muscles getting stronger, but without all that sensation. Now let's take our legs as wide as the mat. Pull the shins back, stick your butt back, and just start to sink into a squat. And you can stay up high. And again, if you've got bad knees, this is great work for bad knees. Just don't go so far. Just come into something like this and feel the muscles, the tops of the legs hugging to the bones. Feel the muscles at the bottom of the knee hugging in, creating some stability, and just stay. If you want, if it feels okay, you can sink a little lower. And you can even go lower. Lift your heart. You get the sides of the waist lengthen. Great. Squeeze the knees into the elbows. Stay for another 3 breaths. Excellent. All right, so it's coming down however you want. I just like to drop down, shake out the legs a little bit. Let's grab hold of our thighs. Do a little abdominal work as we stretch our hamstrings. So we want to sit up nice and tall here. Your left leg can either stay straight, or if there are also Hatha in your practice, you can take that left leg back, hinging from your hip, so not moving from your knee, but literally from the hip. You can turn that foot back. And the toes of that left foot are facing the wall behind you. They are not out to the side like this. Never sit like this. It's just not a good place for your knees. But back behind you is good. Again, if you have bad knees, you're not even trying to come into this. And sit up tall. So if you feel a little wobbly here, that's one of the things that could happen in this pose. It's just a good way to notice the imbalances of our bodies. but also you're sitting in a position that you are in a little imbalanced anyhow, but try to root back down through that left sit bone. If it's not working, then just take your foot forward. We can also come into Janu Sirsasana here, okay? Then we're gonna take the tie and wrap it around our right foot. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. We're gonna feel the bottom ribs kind of drawing back because we don't wanna feel our kidneys pinch in. So draw back, sit up tall. You can start with a little bend in that right leg, and then we'll lift it and reach it forward. Now roll yourself back to the front of your sits bones. That's the hard work. That's the abdominal work, or the core work. And lift that leg up high. Hold. You can hold on with both hands. You can tie it around one hand. Keep that heart reaching up towards the hand in the air. Reach that foot away. It's a big hamstring stretch. Two more breaths. Beautiful. So now we're going to take hold of the tie with just the right hand. Now we'll take the leg out to the right, reach the left arm out to the left. Again, still rolling to the front of your sits bones. Draw that belly button in. We'll bring it back through center. Hold on now, just the left hand, take the right arm out to the side and draw that leg over here. Is an IT stretch. Press the inseam of that right leg out towards the left. If you want, you can also give the spaces of that leg a little massage, especially if you feel a lot of tension, a lot of stretch, or a lot of non-give from the connective tissue. Feels kind of weird and screamy. Beautiful. Back through center, bend that knee, draw it in. Take hold of the shin of the left leg, draw it up. Take up both legs. Okay, we got another leg to see. Gratitude, we only have 2 legs and not 6 or 8 or 4 like other creatures on this planet. Sitting up nice and tall, whatever you do. So if you come onto this side, you did the other side, it didn't hurt at all. This side, you get onto it and there's like a pull or just a discomfort in the knee. I wouldn't do it. Like, I'm not gonna stay in a spot in my body that feels not good. Like, why would I do that to myself? You know, I love myself. I'm not gonna let myself stay in pain, especially as I move into more challenging. So if that's the case, again, Janu or just straight out. All right. I'm gonna take the tie, wrap it around the left leg. We'll bend that knee a little bit. So as we bend that knee, notice you can feel the front of your sits bones. As that leg lifts up, the front of the sits bones is harder to feel. You gotta actually root them down, which is abdominal work or core work. Lift up. Low back draws in and up, heart reaches towards that foot. Breathe. I'm gonna wrap the tie around just the left hand. I'm gonna take the left leg out to the side, take the right arm out to the right, sitting up tall. Come back through center, lift that leg up a little higher, get that nice hamstring stretch. And then we'll stretch that leg over towards the right as we move into that outer leg, that IT area. Ooh. Just give it a massage, whatever you're feeling. Beautiful. Bring that back in and we'll bend it. Hold of the shin of the right leg and sit up. Now, holding onto the backs of both legs. Again, you're in a little ball here, and you can just start to inch your feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Back of the neck long, reach the head towards the toes. Easier to do this pose with your feet off the mat because then your feet slide. So you want to keep the belly on the thighs as you reach the heart forward. See if you can feel here the inner thighs energetically dropping down towards the floor and then away from each other. Beautiful. We can start to release the hands, bring them forward. And then we'll start to slowly roll ourselves back up. Plant your feet to the floor. Let's start to roll ourselves down to the mat. And make sure you've got your blocks close by. And set up. All right, so we're going to do a few different poses here with blocks. So the first one is a psoas stretch, and that's getting into this deep muscle that kind of attaches itself in the bottom back of the pelvis, I believe. Or maybe if I'm not sure, I don't have a muscle thing here with me, and I certainly can't go inside my own body and find it. But it draws all the way up, kind of attaches to the second rib. And it's deep, and if you want to find it, take your fingers kind of underneath the iliac crest, that big hip bone, and just press down. And if you feel something kind of achy, that's probably it. It's a muscle that is, for me, always a little sore, which is unfortunate, but kind of cool, because the sensation that it provides is one of tenderness, not of discomfort, just feeling of vulnerability. So you can just hold it for a second and just feel it out. So that's the muscle we're going to head towards. We're going to take a block. We're going to bring our hips, our sacrum, right onto the block. Now you may just need one. So if your psoas is really tight, as you draw that right leg up and stretch your left leg straight, you'll already feel something going on from here to here. Okay, there's just a little interesting sensation. If you're feeling absolutely nothing, lift your hips up, take the second block on its shortest height, and then you've got this double. Okay, so that'll certainly give you something to get your feet wet. I don't know, get your teeth into. That's a good one. Yeah, let's get our teeth into this psoas. So shoulders relax, jaw relax. With each exhale, feel that right leg kind of softening down. Now you can start to reach that left inner heel away from you as you feel the inner thighs and the outer hips hugging towards the midline. Bring your mind's eye up into your head, your shoulders. They should feel completely relaxed. See if you can feel the inseam of the left leg reach down towards the floor. Breathe. If you want, you can notice what it feels like to rock the right knee a little back and forth. So what if you don't have blocks here? I forgot to mention that. If you don't have blocks, you can use books, big thick books. I would take the paper cover off them so you don't ruin them. And then we're going to stop moving our right leg. We'll start to wiggle our left foot. Toes roll in, toes roll out. By the way, I want you to notice where your tailbone is. And if you feel the tailbone kind of rooting down into that block, I want you to lengthen the tailbone more towards the front of the mat and as high as your blocks. So it's just straight line, not dropping down, not lifting up. All right, we're gonna release, actually let's draw that left knee in. If you feel balanced here, you're in a little bit of a shoulder stand, right? And then we're gonna start to drop the right foot to the floor as we draw that left leg in. And if holding onto the top of the leg isn't working, a couple things you can do, of course. You can use your tie as you start to straighten that right leg, or you can also just hold on underneath. So the inner thighs are hugging towards each other, the outer hips are hugging towards each other. The knee and the left knee, right ankle are moving away, and then you can start to move that left leg a little bit from side to side, keeping the inseam of the right leg down towards the mat. Okay, we're going to release or bring the left leg back to neutral as we start to move the right toes in and out. Beautiful. All right, and then back to neutral again. You can either drop the left foot to the floor, or you can start to slide the right leg up. So we're back into this kind of supported shoulder stand. Make sure that you feel like the whole sacrum is comfortably relaxed on those blocks. So you feel nice and strong and supported. Pull the mat apart, rolling onto the shoulders, and lift the feet up. Notice if your toes are coming towards your face, you feel more weight or heaviness in your lungs. So draw those heels back so that they're lined up over the hips, maybe even a little farther away as the belly draws in. And then you'll feel lots of lightness in the chest. We're going to start to bend the knees. Plant one foot down, plant the other foot down. We're back into a little bridge pose supported. You can make it a little bit more comfortable. Here again, as the collarbones widen and the back of the head kind of not presses into the floor, but is on the floor, lifting the chin up a little bit. Feel that heart reach up. Breathe. Beautiful. All right, from here we're gonna lift the hips up. So the hips are gonna feel super heavy after all that work we've done to them. So bring your mind's eye to your feet. Feel the tailbone reaching towards the backs of the thighs, and then pull the shins back, and the hips will lift off enough that you can slide the blocks off and slowly come back down. When you feel ready, you can either walk or roll out your legs a little bit from side to side. You can also press the low back down and draw the knees into the chest. And rock a little bit from side to side here. Just take a moment in this pose, bringing your mind's eye or heart or back into your heart. And notice the sensation again of gratitude, that opening, that softness to the heart. And now notice that the whole body feels almost very responsive to it because the body has been worked. I always feel at the end of a practice that the cells in my body are like, thank you. Thanks for the attention. So you know, the whole Shavasana is just an opportunity to relish or luxuriate in the feeling of a body well worked. All right, so we're gonna just give ourselves one last little stretch out. Stretch to the right side, stretch to the left side, both sides. And then you can start to roll yourself up. Get your extra layers ready. We're gonna come into, now you can come just into Shavasana here if you want. I just wanna end in that nice little supported back bend. Because I figure a class that we're focusing on gratitude, which is all about this opening of the heart, we may as well include this little extra heart opener. So this block here is going to be for my shoulder blades. You can also spin it if this one works for you, and this can go up your spine. The other block is going to rest my head, and I'm going to start it always at the most simple, which is the highest version. Okay, so I'm going to do with the block up the spine. I just find for me, I find this comfortable. A lot of people don't, but I do. And it really opens the chest. This one opens the chest too, but you know, you can just imagine the whole shape of it physically, how this one would open more so than this. So up to you. And I'm going to find the block right at the bottom of my rib cage. If I'm doing this version here, it's just at the shoulder blades. And I'm lowering down with my hands, with my elbows, and then slowly finding where my head goes. So I'm taking my time getting into it, and then I will adjust by pressing into the head to move the shoulders and move the hips. Once I have found a comfortable position, I'm gonna let the blocks kind of envelop, or my body's gonna envelop over the blocks. Now, after a few moments, you can check to see if you can bring the head down to the next level. And if it doesn't pull at the back of the neck, then you can stay here. Your legs can be in any position that feels good. If you want to feel more opening through your heart space, keep filling it with more things that, you know, you're lucky to have in your life. Okay, so I'm gonna start to make my way out of this pose to in Shavasana with my back on the floor. If you are loving this, feel free to stay as long as you wish. But the way out for me, I always like to bring my hands underneath my bum, press into the elbows, I bend my knees here, and then I bring my chin towards my chest. Now that's a big movement. You may want to add a hand. Once the chin is at the chest, press into the hands to roll up, and then just move the blocks to the side. And then lie back down. Still noticing all that opening that's there. Today's daily Om is called the cycle of life. As we walk through the world, the people we encounter appear so different from one another. We see babies, old men, pregnant women, teenage boys. We know couples on the verge of marriage and lonely widows or widowers. We interact with toddlers and the terminally ill. As different as each person seems, they're all living a human experience. They're just at different places in the cycle that begin with birth and end with death. Every phase of the cycle of life has its gifts and its challenges. Each stage is temporary and ultimately gives way to a new phase. This quality makes each phase precious because it will never last. One of the wonderful qualities possessed by babies and young children is that they are unaware of that the cycle of life even exists. They're simply present to wherever they happen to be right now, and they don't give much thought to past or future. Being around them reminds us of the joy that comes from living fully in the moment. On the opposite end of life cycle are our elderly role models. They are a reminder that each phase of life should be treasured. Time does pass, and we all change and hopefully grow older if we're lucky. Being aware of the cycle of life and our place in it makes us wiser. As we develop a true appreciation for the phase we are in, we can savor it more. A new mother going through a difficult time with her infant can more easily embrace her challenges because she knows that her child will grow up and she will long for this time again. Difficult and challenging periods are inevitable, but like everything that is part of the cycle of life, they're temporary. When we're fully engaged with life, we get to savor and grow from each phase. and we're ready for the next one when it arrives. Fully embracing wherever you are in the cycle of life is the very essence to happiness. Going back to gratitude, right? So we'll begin to deepen our breath. Here again, we get to practice gratitude because each movement, as we bring our awareness to a specific area and we feel the breath drawing in and we start to move it, feels delightful. So again, we get to just be grateful that we have these senses, these physical senses. This is the human experience, so let's enjoy it. And stretch and yawn in every way that feels good. When you are finished stretching, you can take a little bit of time on your side. Just notice as you have completed the pose, you're in a different place, you kind of get to experience all that what we've developed without any of the work involved. So here in this space, it's just all about the feels. Enjoy the feels. When you're ready, you can come up to seated and we'll sit nice and tall, hands to the heart. Let's take a moment to offer our gratitude one last time today. But also taking this moment to notice all those wonderful gratitude feelings and remind yourself that this is always here. All you have to do is recognize how lucky you are to be alive at this moment in time. We'll seal in the practice with the sound of one Om. So take a nice big inhale, big exhale through the mouth, inhaling to Om. And letting that vibration connect you even deeper into what's connecting you or holding you on to this earth, lengthen up through the crown of the head. As a reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts, we'll bring our hands to our head as a symbol of our thoughts, and we'll bring them right back to where they belong. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paula.
Grateful that you're here.
Thanks, Paula.
Thank you. See you later.